Hello, YouTube. This is the Gentleman Scholar with my latest book report, "Yanks in the RAF" by David Allen Johnson. Um, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a much of a. I'm not at all a military reader, but um, but I got this book mainly, basically because of the quote unquote special relationship between the UK and the United States of America, and it turns out that this particular movement, this particular time in history, was the beginning of that special relationship. Um, Back during World War II, there were a lot of Americans who wanted to fly, and either their admissions process wouldn't let them, or they didn't pass the test, or whatever. There's a million different reasons why they weren't able to fly for the U.S. For the military, or they were too young, or what have you. So a lot of them decided to, well, we're just going to go to the UK and volunteer for the RAF or somewhere who'll take us, and which meant bucking the Neutrality Act at the time because in 1940 the United States did not want to be involved in the second, what was ramping up to be the Second World War, as Britain was being bombed by Germany. There was a time when Britain really stood alone. America, like the Lend Lease Act, they lent them equipment, they lent them armaments and everything like that, but they wouldn't actually get involved in the war. But these guys just decided to go to where the fight is. And the thing that I guess prompted me to get this book is because I'm always interested in the culture clash. Well, not the culture clash, but the cultural differences between the United Kingdom and the United States. Because yes, we share a common language, more or less, um, but different sensibilities, different cultural sensibilities, and that's what I really read the book for. So when I'm reading all the names and all the what's the word, all the maneuvers and all the planning that went into a certain bombing run or whatever, I kind of just glossed over that information because number one, I'm not studying for a test, and number two, the nuts and bolts of it really didn't interest me so much as of how the RAF basically dealt with their new volunteers, and yeah, it was really really fascinating stuff. I mean, the attitude shifted from a vague resentment between the two countries to gradual. It was World War II that really sort of, I don't want to say reconciled the United States and Great Britain, but World War II that basically kind of got the two countries to know each other again. Because let's face it, World War One, there was some resentment about the United States entering too late into the war and hogging up most of the glory, etc., so on. Um, but yeah, I learned a lot, and they discussed the different terminologies of phrase and everything like that. Americans had to kind of get used to it. The first three basically showed that they wanted to show themselves to be these raucous cowboys and untamable frontiersmen, because that's the image Americans had. But over time, cultural assimilation, cultural understanding was met, and yeah, you got three squadrons built out of American RAF fighters, RAF plane fighters, jet fighters. Sorry, early in the morning. But anyway, I really enjoyed this book. I zipped through it quick because a lot of the terminology I could gloss over. If you have any interest in the United Kingdom, the United States, and our relationship with each other, you should really like this book. Also included are the names of all the U.S. fighter pilots from all the different squadrons who were, who were in the war, and yeah, there's lots of the fighting scenes were very vividly depicted, especially when you're like sailing through the clouds over the channel on some kind of sortie to like do some bombing thing. Apparently, the RAF and especially the American squadrons did a lot of bombing escort runs with the Flying Fortress, and yeah, it's hard to imagine now how much hung by a thread. What would happen if Germany had won. This is recording, right? Yes, it is. Okay. So, yeah, I read this mainly as a palate cleanser. I'm glad I did, because I learned some stuff I didn't know before, which is the whole point of reading, isn't it? Um, yeah. So, yeah, check it out if that's your thing. Uh, as you folks know, this is sort of a half-assed, booktube channel. I have no TBR reading plans or anything like that, but I don't know what I'm going to read next, so you know just as much as I do. So take care, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm also planning, hopefully, to do a pipe video at some point this week if I get a break in my work schedule. All the best, my friends. Cheers.